Alright, welcome back to part 2 of our lesson here. If you've noticed, I've already written the 5 families that we just learned about up on top here on the board. Now we're going to go ahead and solve for decimals. When we talked about decimals, now we want to multiply to get rid of the decimals. So if I'm coming over here, I'm going to go ahead and I have to move this one spot over, so I'm multiplying by 10. I got to move this one spot over, so I'm multiplying by 10. Okay, and what do I see? I'm left with 7, and I'm left with 25. Well, there's my family right there, 7 blank 25, 7, 24, 25. So I got my family already. I'm going to circle that part that was missing, my scale factor. Since I had to multiply by 10 to go back, I divide by 10. So my scale factor is going to be 1/10. Now what do? I multiply my missing family member and my scale factor to find out what's the length of that side. So 1/10 times 24 equals 2.4. And that would be my missing side right there. Now the next one. We have to find the greatest common factor. What number goes into both of these? Well, to shorten the work for you, I'm going to go ahead and tell you. 3 goes into both of these. So we can divide both by 3. 45 divided by 3 is 15. 51 divided by 3 is 17. So I got x, 15, and 17. I look up here. I know 17 is my hypotenuse, so I look for one with a hypotenuse 17. I got a side of 15, so I know my other one's got to be 8. So 8, 15, 17. My scale factor here, since I had to divide by 3 to get this number, okay, I do the opposite here, and I multiply by 3 for my scale factor. Just like here, I multiplied by 10, so to get back to it, what I have to do? Divide by 10, which is 1/10. So now I take the missing side and the scale factor, and I multiply them together. Now the last one. This one's a little trickier. Why is it a little trickier? Because we see some numbers that we recognize. We recognize a 3 and a 4 and a missing side. Be very careful. Here is your hypotenuse. Our hypotenuse has to be our biggest number. So, in a 3, 4, 5 triangle, our hypotenuse would have to be where the 4 is. Since it's not there, this is not a family. Okay, it's not a 3, 4, 5 family. So what do we write here for family? None. Poor guy doesn't have a family. So scale factor here is also going to be none. No family. But can we figure out the side? Yes. Why? Because we know Pythagorean theorem. Remember, that's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we plug in what we know. We have a 3 plus the b squared equals our hypotenuse, which is 4 squared. So that gives us 9 plus b squared equals 16 minus 9 minus 9. We have b squared equals 7, square root that. And b equals the square root of 7. And we can go ahead and stop there. Not all of them are going to fit perfectly into a family, so be very, very careful about that. Now into our last part, we're going to talk about classifying triangles. Okay, so use the sides lengths to classify triangles by their angle measures. Okay, as we already know, a right triangle is going to equal 90 degrees. Okay, and a acute triangle. They make a better right triangle there here. Apologize for that. So we're going to move that over here. An acute triangle is less than 90 degrees. And obtuse triangle is greater than 90 degrees. So if we look here, if we set this up, and we can set it up another way, I'll show you to make it a little easier on you. For a right triangle, we can use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I would use my formulas here. I think they're a little bit easier for you to do. For an acute triangle, we have a squared plus b squared. Now we look at this. C is less than, so the arrow points to the C. Here, so a squared plus b squared is greater than c squared. So that means our hypotenuse is a little shorter, which means it's going to be an acute triangle. And here we have a squared plus b squared is less than c squared. That's going to make it an obtuse triangle. So, taking a look at these, we're going to go ahead and first have to figure out if it's a triangle or not. Okay? A triangle can only be formed, as it says right here, if the sum of the two shortest sides are greater than the third side. What does that mean? That means to be a triangle, A plus B has to be greater than C. Otherwise the triangle will cave in on itself. Now when we're doing this, we have to put the numbers in order. So if I look here, 5 is the smallest. Then we have 9, then we have 13. So now that I got my numbers in order, I'm going to check if this is a triangle. So I'm going to put a triangle with a question mark here. So is this plus this greater than this? Well, we have to go ahead and add it to figure out. So 5 and 9 is 14. Is 14 greater than 13? Yes. So what does that mean? We have a triangle. Now, since we have a triangle, we can take it to the next step. We can use part of Pythagorean theorem, but don't put the arrow or the equal sign here. So we're going to have a squared plus b squared. Now we're going to leave a blank and go c squared, because we don't know if it's greater than, less than, or equal to, which would make it, if it's equal to, a right angle. If it's less than 90, it's going to be acute. And if it's greater than 90, it's going to be obtuse. So now we just plug in what we know. We got 5 squared plus 9 squared. Over here, we have 13 squared. So we got 25 plus 81. And this is 169. We go ahead, we add those two together. Here we get 106. And here we get 169. Okay, C is greater. If C is greater, we go ahead. It says here, when C is greater, then it is obtuse. Yes, so what do we have? We have an obtuse triangle. So next one, we do the exact same thing. We have 5 squared plus 6 squared. Leave that little line there, 11 squared. So we have 25 plus 36. Leave that line there, this is 121. We go ahead, we add these two together, we get 61. This is 121. So we look here. When we're trying to find out if it's a triangle, the first two numbers squared have to be greater than the third. Is this the case? No. So right here we have not a triangle. And guess what? We're done with that one. We don't need to find out what kind of triangle because it's not a triangle. Now we'll come to the last one. We have 7 squared plus 8 squared. Blank, or oh, I'm sorry, not blank, is greater than 10 squared. Well, we know this is 100. We have 49 here. We have 64 here. We go ahead, we add those together. We get 113 is greater than 100. Is that the case? Yes. 113 is greater than 100. So we have, yes, a triangle. Now we have to figure out what kind of triangle it is. So now we have